Uh, Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Ms. Amani, how are you?
Hello, fine, thank you. We'd just like to stop sharing the screen, if you please.
Okay, you can't see my screen because I've shared it.
We need just to stop sharing.
To stop sharing.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
So welcome back, all of you, here in one of the most special presentations for York E with the collaboration of the EKB. Today, we're going to have such a special presentation about something which is very interesting and extremely fun for children in our classes, which is projects. Our session for today is entitled Hands on Deck Projects in Connect Primary 3, and this is the surprise. Our presenters today are Dr. Manan Nouhi and Ms. Nisma Rashwan, and I'd like to introduce them for you. Dr. Iman acquired her BA and MA in English and Comparative Literature from the American University in Cairo. She obtained her PhD in English Literature from Cairo University with special focus on children's literature. Dr. Iman is a certified English teacher, and in fact, she spent a few years at the beginning of her career teaching both children and adults. She's been a book series editor at Longman Egypt for more than 20 years, but she's young. Okay? And she's currently the ELT publishing manager at Longman Egypt. And for Ms. Nisma Aidel is a graduate of the Faculty of Alson, Ain Shams University. She is a TESOL certified from the University of Alliance, and also she spent a while teaching in private institutions. She's currently the project editor at Longman Egypt. She's responsible for compiling all the projects in Connect and making sure that they are doable and prepare them for the photo shoots. So with no further to say, Iman, Nisma, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Amani. Okay, let me start by sharing screen. Okay, can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, let me tell you that I have done many presentations throughout my career and my professional life, but this is my first time ever to do a presentation on Zoom. So I'm slightly nervous that something might go wrong, but hopefully with Amani and Nisma here in charge, things will go well. That said, I'd like to welcome you all, and I'm delighted to be with you today. The topic of our presentation is All Hands on Deck, Projects in Connect for Primary 3. If people can give me their thoughts on why we chose this topic, All Hands on Deck, and what do you think All Hands on Deck actually indicates? If Amani would just help me with a few comments on what people think this means. I'll just give you a few seconds. Okay, any ideas? The topic of our presentation.
Sarah Mohammed says that we're going to cooperate with something.
Yes, okay. Anything else?
Ms. Samah, group work, Ghada Al-Fayoumi, we all participate, we do projects together.
Okay, perfect.
Hana Kahlawi, participation of students.
Excellent.
Anyone from Facebook? Come on. Sarah Zaki from Facebook, she says that projects are cooperation.
Excellent, Selma. Okay, well, you've set the keywords, and the keywords are basically everybody joining in teamwork. All hands on deck is a metaphor for people coming together in a sense of urgency, because it means that all of you coming together on the deck of the ship to rescue a ship. So all hands on deck means that every single person is participating, and it also indicates a sense of urgency. And this sense of urgency is really important because we all know that when the pandemic suddenly hit the entire world, in Egypt, the ministry requested that the students participate using projects and research paper. And for some reason, everybody panicked and people weren't sure how to do this. But with Education 2.0, this really should not be a problem anymore, because we all need to establish that sense of urgency and to be aware that projects are no longer something that you can pass by or ignore. In fact, projects are something that are crucial, and we will proceed to show you why. Okay, now we've come to realize that when it comes to dealing with projects, we have two camps. The first camp believes that projects are a total waste of time and refuses to do them. The second camp believes that projects are a huge investment. Now, the purpose of this presentation is to perhaps convince everybody involved, or convince all of the stakeholders involved in education, including parents and children, and supervisors and principals of schools. We're trying to convince all the stakeholders that projects are in fact a huge investment in the process of education. We were interested to know how people reacted to projects in Connect. So we made a poll on Facebook, and the poll indicated that 54% actually did use Connect after every unit. 34% said they sometimes did the projects in class. 2.2% said that they only did a project once per term. And a very, very sad 10% said that they never ever do projects in class. Now, the good news is, when we asked, do your students enjoy the projects in Connect? An overwhelming 90% said that yes, their students do enjoy projects in Connect. Now, not to be deluded by the poll results, we are aware that statistics can sometimes be misleading. It's very possible that the 91 people who answered this poll are actually the teachers that do the projects, because they're very active teachers. They're active on social media. So maybe the 91 teachers who answered this poll happen to be the people who do the projects, and there are thousands of teachers out there who do not do the projects and did not answer the poll. But in any case, it's a pilot and it's an indicator of how teachers react to projects in Connect. Okay, I would like to begin by asking you, what do you think a project is? So if there are any thoughts on what the definition of a project is, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Ahmed Al-Hashaj.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, sir.
I think it is about an idea that measures my students how can they achieve this at the real work, in a group work.
Okay, so you've mentioned group work and you've mentioned measuring, so some type of assessment that you're able to measure. Okay, excellent. Any other thoughts?
I think
Yes.
approach is something that we do in order to make a weak student be involved in the educational process, to make sure that the weak students got the idea. And of course, it's an activity to avoid burden inside the educational process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Gheda. So you mentioned, in fact, that you want hands on deck, that you want the children to use their hands, and that you are encouraging the weaker ones to participate. So absolutely, yes.
Okay, we have something here in the chat box. We have Mr. Yusuf Murad says that it is an activity for students. Ms. Sarah Mohammed doing activities as a teamwork. Riham Salahuddin, it's an application of what they study. Amira Faiz, it's a method to make students understand the lesson well. Marwa Osman says that projects allow students to search and learn. We have from the Facebook, Ms. Sarah Zaki says that it is an action that needs thinking, planning, cooperation, and tools. Mr. Ahmed El-Shabrawi says that I'm sure students enjoy doing projects as they have the chance to share and express their skills.
Wonderful. It looks like I should leave and you guys should take over. Wonderful ideas. Okay, well,
by the way, Dr. Iman, I beg your pardon, Yusuf Murad says that he is not a teacher. He is a primary 6 student.
Oh,
so
Yusuf, we're so happy to have you with us today. Excellent. Well, please feel free to participate, Yusuf, whenever you need to. We'd love to have you join us. Okay, well, if we think of a definition of a project and, something that we have all said right now, so it's commonly any form of manual work a learner undertakes. So manual work meaning that they use their hands. You have to make sure that your children are using total physical response and that they're using their hands in doing the project. It must be under the supervision of a teacher or a parent. So you cannot just send a child out somewhere to do a project and expect him or her to be able to do it. You have to be supervising as a parent or as a teacher. It must accomplish the intended learning outcomes, which I think Mr. Ahmed El-Hashesh mentioned, in that it must be somehow measurable. You need to define your learning outcomes and to be able to make sure that by the time the project is finished, you've actually accomplished these intended learning outcomes. And it has to be within a learning environment, okay? Meaning that you cannot just expect this to be a form of fun way to occupy your students' time. It's definitely fun, but the point is not to have fun. It has to be a learning environment and it has to be related to what they're studying within the classroom environment. Okay, now, why do we need projects? I mean, surely we can survive without them, but why do we need them? And why do we need them now more than any other time? Any thoughts on this?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Ahmed.
In all my days of my career, we learned our children just to listen and talk. But I believe that once they use their hands, their minds to think, achieve their work, and they make this kind of models that consider their thoughts, I think it will be a better way to learn.
Absolutely.
That's my view.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts?
Okay. I think that projects helps the teacher to learn more about the students as persons when they are dealing with each other as teamworks, when they talk and when they express about themselves while they are doing these projects.
Thank you, Ms. Christina. So getting to know what intelligence your student has, the kind of intelligence that your student has or doesn't have. And this is something that Nisma will talk to us more about. So definitely, yes, that's an excellent point.
I have here something in the chat. Okay, we have Ibtisam Hussein says that it helps students activate the skills of the 21st century. Marwa Osman, it enriches the students' knowledge. Hiba Bihit, they practice what they learn. Fatma, as students need to share their thoughts, ideas, and experience. Salwa Abul Fituh says that it is important to make the teaching more active and more enjoyable. And Rana says to enhance that people understand the lesson.
Amazing, amazing. It always intrigues me how people regard projects as 21st century skills, which in fact they are. But I mean, look how long ago we actually needed projects. Because, can you think of a profession where someone does not use their hands or is not required to do some sort of research? So yeah, it's definitely, it enhances 21st century skills. I think it enhances, BC skills because it's that important. Okay, so I think Miss Christina was the one who mentioned that it accounts for individual differences. So we may have the shy child, we may have the bouncy loud one. Those, the project caters for that, because the shy student, you can help him to get rid of his timidness and perhaps participate. And the bouncy is probably going to be less difficult to deal with because he has a way of venting all that hyperactivity inside him. So the bouncy will be happy and the shy will be happy, and you will be able to cater for all these individual differences. It also helps them to develop positive values and life skills, since the learner interacts with his or her peers in real life situations. So when children get together and they cooperate to do a certain task, this is something that puts them in a real life situation where they actually do need to interact together. And you can think of many instances, perhaps a basketball team, a soccer team, or anything, even the way that they deal with people in the supermarket. So this is something that teaches them how to communicate and to interact with themselves, with people of the same age. As somebody here also mentioned, that it encourages the exchange of thoughts and ideas with others. And maybe this isn't happening nowadays. I do see that teachers are changing. But back in the past, maybe my generation, we weren't really encouraged to think and to say our ideas. We were asked to just learn and to memorize and to just repeat everything that our teachers told us. But projects actually do encourage your children to come up with thoughts and ideas in a safe environment. Again, catering for the 21st century skills. I think somebody also mentioned in the chat this point. It's to promote investigating, exploring, accountability, and searching for solutions for real life problems. Now, you may think a project is something that's really simple, but it's not for the student. They are actually asked to explore and to search for solutions on how to do this project. And this gives them the foundational skills that they'll need in the future to be able to find solutions for real life problems. Of course, it also encourages the spirit of cooperation between learners to execute their projects through a final product or performance. The happiness that a student will feel when they've accomplished a project and when they're able to present it to their classmates is just indescribable. I'm sure you've seen this more than we have, how proud they are when they present their project. I mean, who isn't proud of their product or performance? And finally, activities in the project call for performing research and building new knowledge. We have built our projects in Connect on this foundation that they do need to go and do some sort of research. So this is something that we are very keen on in the projects in Connect. Now, today we're going to be talking about projects in Connect for Primary 3, Term 2, only because we know that all of you are dying to see what's in Term 2 of Connect 3. It's the only book that you haven't seen yet. So we're going to be presenting this to you today. But that said, what we're saying today will apply to any and all projects that are in Connect or Connect Plus, starting KG1 all the way up to Primary 3. So by all means, if you have thoughts and ideas that you would like to share with us and your experiences, starting from the KG1 class all the way up to Primary 3, we're very eager to listen to your ideas. Now, before we move on to the projects in Primary 3, I want you to take a look at this picture and to tell me how in the world a project in Connect is related to this picture. What do you think this picture means? If you're going to encourage your students to participate, then you need to participate yourselves. Any ideas on how this is related to projects in the ELT classroom? We have 2 people in an interview.
Again, I can't hear this conversation.
Okay, I'm sure. I'm asking how you think that this picture is related to preparing our students within the English language teaching classroom. What kind of skills will the project give them that will prepare them for what is happening in this picture?
I think it's to help the students, to help our students to use English in the future, in their jobs. In their jobs, they are asked to use the language. So I think this is a way, or this project will help them, or will prepare them to participate or to pass an interview, I think.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm not sure who was speaking, but
Khadra.
Khadra. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, Khadra, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes, I think from the picture, your kind of learning give them the great opportunity to be in touch in English in each situation they can face in the future, and they can just talk about themselves freely and deal with English as their mother language, and they can just deal with it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ahmed. It's kind of funny how if we want to deal with this Zoom session as if, you know, together we are students, and just by you as participants, I think we can all agree that someone like Mr. Ahmed would probably be the leader in a project. He's very outgoing, he likes to speak, he likes to express himself, he's not shy. So this is actually a real life situation. This is how your kids do feel when they're doing a project. We can tell by this Zoom session the variety that we have. So, you know, the more you participate, the more it's likely that, you know, that I'm hopefully going to try to help you participate, perhaps by making you relax a little bit, perhaps by telling you that, you know, even I'm nervous talking to you, but there's no need to be nervous. That the more we participate, the more we'll be able to help each other. So I do encourage you all to be like, you know, Mr. Ahmed and Ms. Gheda and Christina, Khadra, please, all of you, as much as you can. We would love to hear you participate. So yes, like you said, using English language in a real life situation is something that they will be required to do in almost all walks of life. On any CV, you have to say something about the level of your English. Yes, Gheda has raised her hand. So Gheda, would you like to say something?
Yes, I think a project relating to this picture helps the students to develop their life skills. In the project, the student has to be self-confident, he has to interact, he has to communicate, and these are things that he's going, or he or she are going to use in the real life, whether in an interview, whether in if they are playing a game, whatever. They need to do this. They need to show that they are self-confident. They can communicate. They can share their ideas and all of these things.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Gheda. Thank you very much for your participation. Yeah, I think that what we're trying to say here. Okay, I have 2 participants raise their hand, but I can't see who is raising their hand. So Amani, can you help me out? Nisma, can you see who's raising their hands?
Yes. Please unmute yourself.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Ms. Sameh.
Hello. I think that the key word in the previous picture is the word life skills. And this means self-awareness, critical thinking, decision-making. All these ideas refers to life skills.
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well. Yes,
Okay.
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Thank you.
We have Ms. Gheda. Ms. Gheda. Please unmute yourself and okay, we have from Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome. Go on.
Thank you very much, but I've already participated and shown
Okay,
my point. Thank you.
so you didn't lower your hand. We have from Facebook, Mr. Ahmed Al-Shabrawi says that life skills are naturally developed through doing projects indeed.
Okay, let's move on to, I think the moment many of you have been waiting for, and that's we're going to be giving you a peek look at Primary 3, Term 2. We know that you have not received the books yet, but you will be receiving them very soon. Some of you may have already received them. So we're going to be taking Unit 7 as an example, showing you how we go through the 4 skills of ELT, culminating all the way up to a project at the end of the unit. So Term 2 is going to be dealing a little bit more with international awareness because we feel that the kids are now old enough to grasp this concept. We start off with Unit 7, Where Are You From?, where our 4 lovely characters, Hani and Hannah, and Amira and Yusuf, will meet 2 new characters, 2 siblings from China. And they say hello and they introduce themselves and they're asking, where are you from? The response is, we're from China, we're Chinese. Where are you from? We're from Egypt, we're Egyptian. Welcome to Egypt. Thank you, I'm happy to be here. Okay, so from this very small exchange between the kids that we have, can you tell me what you think the key vocabulary and key structures are going to be here? Can anyone tell me what the key structures and key vocabulary words are in this lesson?
Different nationalities, I think.
Okay, yes.
Different experience,
okay.
Different experience, different knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
And different people.
Okay.
We
you
have
notice the
Sherry?
words in bold? Yes, Miss
We have
Sherry.
Miss Sherry from the chat box. She says that here we respect different customs and beliefs. Miss Rania says, Rania Al-Kashif, learn about people from different countries. Amira, different countries. Amani, Ahmed, diversity. Hana Kahlawi, countries and nationalities. Taghreed, dealing with diverse people. Laila, express themselves and share knowledge. And Asrar says that they will know where are you from.
Perfect. This is all absolutely correct. So from the opening spread or from the opening lesson, we're talking about being Egyptian and China and being Chinese, okay? If we move on to the lesson after that, we start to drill these concepts. So the first child says, I'm from Egypt, I'm Egyptian. The second child says, I'm from France, I'm French. The third child says, I'm from America, I'm American. And finally, I'm from China, I'm Chinese. So now they're being exposed to 4 different nationalities, of course, the local one, the Egyptian one, and now they're about to learn about France, America, and China, okay? So this is all about international awareness. They will then proceed to look, read, and match. They're Chinese, he's American, she's French, you're Egyptian. Now, we've stopped saying this up front, that this is a way to be able to help your students say, I'm from, she's from, you're from, he's from. So rather than giving them a specific grammar rule for how to use the pronouns, they are saying and repeating over and over again, okay? And this is something that Ms. Amani will explain to you tomorrow in her online training. So the language that's being drilled here is, where are you from? I'm from Egypt, I'm Egyptian. They're from China, they're Chinese, and so on and so forth, without upfront teaching a grammar lesson. That has become a big no-no. We no longer teach grammar as grammar rules per se. You rely on drilling and you rely on speaking so that they will eventually grasp the language. They then proceed to look, listen, and complete in a song. So they hear this really nice song about China and America, France, and Egypt. After that, in the next lesson, we're talking about issues and cross-cultural communication. And you can see here in the background this beautiful photo of a place in China. And the children are opening cookies and they're getting messages within the cookie, because this is something that's famous in China, these fortune cookies. And they're each getting some sort of message in it for luck, to see what kind of luck they have. So here the children are supposed to read and circle the correct answer. Hannah has a cake or a cookie. So again, revising the vocabulary, cake versus cookie, very implicitly without teaching an explicit vocabulary lesson. And here they're asked to look at the picture and to be able to deduce information from the picture. Okay, so these are all skills that we're dealing with to eventually be able to do the project. If you do not go through these steps, your project will become very difficult and irrelevant. Okay, here they're dealing with the value of respect for diversity. So now you're not just teaching about France and America and Egypt and China, but you are also dealing with their habits and their traditions. So here the children are speaking about what they have for breakfast. We have the Egyptian has fool and eggs, I think, and Mary has coffee for breakfast. Wang Min has noodles. Okay, so the kids are now developing an understanding about how kids their own age have their traditions and values. But respect for diversity is not just about different nationalities, it's also about respecting differences within ourselves. So here we're talking about nationalities and how to use sign language to express nationalities. So I'm from Egypt and how to sign that. I'm from France and how to sign that. And I'm from America, and so on and so forth. And really, I mean, hats off for the Ministry of Education for introducing very small highlights of sign language for children, because now they're able to sign to other children of their age. And I mean, I really have not seen a textbook that does this before. In my 20 years or so of dealing with school books, I have not seen this before. This is the first time. So we do salute the Ministry of Education for requesting that this be included. Okay, and then they proceed to read. Okay, they read paragraphs about these children who are in America, France, China, and Egypt. They read long paragraphs about the child's school day. So Mark starts off saying, "Hi, I'm Mark. I'm American. I start school at 8 o'clock. In the morning, we have writing and math. Then music or PE. We have lunch at 12. Then in the afternoon, we have science and reading. We finish school at around 3. We don't have school on Saturdays and Sundays." So the American child is talking about what he does during the day. Okay, and then the French child, and then the Chinese, and then the Egyptian, and then all that information is going to be transferred into a chart. Can I ask you to please mute yourself? I don't know who's telling her child to do something, but please mute yourself. Okay, Amani. Okay, I hope I'm audible. Nisma, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So after the student is reading all this information, he has to transfer it onto a chart. And here we're laying the foundation for doing a project. to be able to decipher all this information and set it out in a chart is something that he will then do in a project. So this is very important. It's very important for you to take Connect step by step, lesson by lesson, culminating to a project. You cannot miss out on a lesson and expect your child to be able to do the project. Okay, and here's where, learning sounds with Busy Bee is something that you're all familiar with. It helps them to pronounce properly, and it helps with punctuation and so on and so forth, so that when he's writing something in his project, he's able to be accurate. In this unit, we have math. Okay, I'm sure you know by now that in each unit, we have a CLIL section. In this section, we have math, and it's about addition and subtraction. Okay, but it has not moved away from the concept of cultural diversity. So here they are learning about math, but through the currency of other countries. So we have, in my country, Egypt, our money is the pound. 1 pound is 100 piastres. In my country, France, our money is the euro. 1 euro is 100 cents. Okay, and so on and so forth, where each country is now talking about the currency. And then they proceed to do their addition and subtraction. So to recap, we've talked about 4 countries. We've talked about France, we've talked about Egypt, we've talked about China, and we've talked about America. We've talked about food in each one of these. We've talked about currency in each one of these. We've talked about habits and what they eat. And we've sung songs about these traditions, okay? And we've made a graphic organizer. They've organized their thoughts throughout the unit on how to group each country and what the children do in each country. Now, can anybody, this is the last lesson before the project. What do you think the project for this unit is? Or how do you think the student is going to be asked to perform a project, seeing that I've now given you a general overlook on Unit 7? So Ameni, if you could please unmute so we can have some participation. The question is,
they are allowed to unmute themselves.
Having gone through all the lessons in Unit 7, what do you think the project will be about?
Excuse me, I think the project is going to be about assigning a new country to say where they are from. For example, the unit here mentioned America and China and Egypt. I can give them Japan, and to get their habits, food, and so on. So this is different countries, more different countries, and they do the vocabulary themselves. Thank you.
I wish we could all clap for you, Ms. Reda, because you're spot on. Absolutely. This is what the project will be about. I would like to now pass on the mic to my dear colleague, Nisma, and she will be talking to you about the project in Unit 7. So over to you, Nisma.
Okay.
Can I add something, Miss?
Yes, absolutely. While Nisma is preparing it. Yes, sure, please.
Excuse me.
Talking to me?
Can I say something about project?
Yes, sure.
Yes. Can I?
Okay, okay, please, Mr. Ahmed, start.
Okay. I think project the title of the project, me and my friends just make a little magazine about selves and friends and put them all happen in 7 all together. Of handwriting, drawings, and some ads from other books from the internet, and I said we're under the title of Me and My Friends. I think it will be a good project for my children to establish that magazine, and we can just publish it in our school. Okay.
Can I add something, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Me?
Who's me? Who are you?
I'm Miss Samah.
Miss Samah, please go ahead.
Okay. I think, in my opinion, in my class, I will ask my students to search on internet to find a place they want to visit, and design a plan, which currency they need, what's the favorite food, the places, the countries. To go behind, we have here 4 countries: Egypt, China, France, America, and they know all the information about these 4 countries. So I go behind these countries, another one, okay, and then design a plan as if they are going to visit this country for a summer holiday or a winter holiday, and search to find the currency, the food, the capital, the places.
Excellent, excellent. I think Nisma will now show you that actually you're spot on, and let's show you what we've done to help you reach this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Iman. Thank you all for being here today. I'm very delighted to be with you. So to recap what Dr. Iman have just said, every unit has objectives that we need to focus on. So for this unit, we have vocabulary. Students are expected to talk about countries, nationalities, currencies, and for phonics, we have the double F letter sound, double L and double S. And also we have some structures. Students are expected to ask and answer about countries and nationalities. Also, we have values like loyalty and belonging, as we have just mentioned with Dr. Ann. So what's the focus of our unit is the life skills. So can you tell me what kind of life skills do we need in this unit? Any ideas?
Yes, communication.
Sure. Yes, what else?
Operation.
Yes, great. What else?
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
The 4 skills.
Yes, how to introduce myself.
Okay, great.
Accepting different.
Okay, so the life skills we are, yes, excellent.
Accepting others, yes, others, yes.
So
decision making.
Operation, collaboration, decision making, time management, yes, and research skills. And we're going to go into this in details. So you have 2 ways to introduce your idea. So either you use your classic paper and pen and have an exercise like this, look and match. So for example, let's do this exercise. The currency of Japan is, any idea?
Please.
Yen.
Yen. Yes.
Japan people eat?
Yes.
Rice. They like rice.
And rice, of course.
So
The flag of Japan is?
Can I say something, please?
Yes, sure.
So according to introducing myself in a good way, my idea for the project, maybe I'll ask my students to participate in a broadcast. Each one will wear a costume for as we have different visitors from different countries, and one will be the reporter himself from his country and talk about it.
Okay, yes, exactly. Okay, exactly. Thank you very much for sharing this. We just need to highlight here that we can use 2 ways. We can just either use pencil and paper the classic way, like we were using here in the look and match exercise. So for example, the flag of Japan is red and white. And we can also have some exercise like answer the questions. We have what's the currency of Japan, as we've just said. We have what colors are used in the Japanese flag. What do people eat in Japan? And what does the Japanese map look like? This is the classic way of introducing your objectives. But you can also use this, the project we have here. This is the way we use to introduce our objectives. So let's recap what Dr. Iman have just said. What's a project? It's a manual work a learner undertakes under the supervision of a teacher to accomplish intended learning outcomes within a learning environment. So why would we use a project? Not all of your students are just the same. So we have different intelligences in your class, and we need to highlight Gardner's multiple intelligences here. So if your student is visual or auditory, verbal, physical, mathematical, intrapersonal, naturalistic, or interpersonal, he will have something to do in this project. Always make sure that you include people of different intelligences or students of different intelligences in the same group. So moving on to the project itself. Can you see the page? We have this double spread where you have the materials. So we have colored cardboard, we have photos from magazines, and we have glue and scissors. If you can see, these materials are just simple to find, and they're just available anywhere. So the easy materials you can find here is what makes these projects applicable. And nothing here that we're saying is not applicable. We've shooted this, we've tried it, I've done it myself, and our students can do them. So the group should be from between 4 and 5 students, and we need to make sure that the students are practicing the life skills we talked about. So can you tell me how can we tackle these life skills in this project? This is a project about a country display, like the one I showed you here. This is our project. So can you tell me what kind of life skills, or how can we tackle them in this project? Any ideas? Okay, anyone participating? Okay, let me help you. We have decision making. What kind of decision do we need to make?
Choosing the country.
Yes, exactly. So do you think we need to choose a country that's mentioned in the unit or that's not mentioned in the unit?
In my opinion,
yes,
not
please.
in the unit. Not in the unit.
Okay, so this is up to the teacher and his students or her students. You can choose one of the countries of the unit and research about it, more research, and have your country display. You can just choose to have a different country and a research from scratch and have a different kind of country display. So then we have cooperation. How is cooperation used in this project?
By sharing the materials.
مثلا colors.
Yes, by sharing the materials.
Yes, and your students cooperate with each other to use the materials and to make the country display and to divide the roles among them, right?
Yes.
Okay, we have also research skills. So, of course, they need to research the country they're talking about. They need to research food, the map, everything about the country, like we saw in the project. So we also have collaboration. How can we use collaboration here, or how is it available here?
I think each student will have something to do, and then they can work together to participate.
Exactly, that's the point.
To complete their project. Yeah.
Yes, so students cooperate with each other to divide the roles among them.
Yeah.
So this is how collaboration.
Or we can divide them according to their abilities: the reader, the writer, the drawer, the timer. The timer, yes.
So coming to this point, what's your role in this? What's the teacher's role? Can you give me any ideas?
I think a guide, a facilitator.
Okay.
He helps.
Facilitator.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Exactly. So
monitoring.
As a teacher, you select the group. So how do you select a group? Someone was just saying, how do we select a group?
Yes, I select the group according to their abilities. Who wants to read, who wants to write, the writer, the reader, even the low achiever, maybe the timer, hurry up, hurry up.
Exactly.
Everyone had a rule.
It's according to their intelligences or their abilities and skills. So So you
Multiple
place
intelligence.
students, yes, exactly. You need to have different kinds of students in the same group, the verbal, the visual, the one who can keep the time, everything. You need to make sure your students are divided evenly among the groups. Then we have divide roles. So do you divide roles or do you let your students divide roles among them?
Yeah, sure, we divide the rules
Yes,
because
yes,
we know
yes.
that each student can do what.
Okay, you can let your group start and try to divide the roles among them, but you need to make sure everyone is taking a role and no one is just overruling everything. You need to make sure also that everyone can make something that they can do. Okay. Then we have set time limits. You set the time limits. So of course, if you have a 30-minute lesson, you need to make sure you're taking the correct time for every phase. Maybe you need to assign a homework before the session. Like students should research what they're going to use in this lesson. So assign them homework. Okay, you guide the research too. They can come back to you and tell you what they found, and you can ask them to find more information if you need to. Also, you make sure there is a division of labor as we just said, and you make sure there is a minimum degree of language exchange. So this is all about talking. You need to make your students talk in English and learn English. So you need to make sure they are using English in making this project, and there is a minimum degree of language exchange. You provide your feedback, of course, but please make sure don't correct the mistakes. You know, if you correct your students' mistakes while talking, they won't talk again. You need to model how to talk, but not correct the mistakes. Then you assess their learning. You also need to make sure that the objectives you set in the beginning of the lesson are achieved. You provide the materials, of course, if necessary. If any student or any group don't have the materials they need, you need to provide them. Moving on to the show and tell. So this is the part where students actually talk. So can you tell me what's the importance of this phase in the project? Any ideas?
To discuss with their friends what are they doing.
Yes, to actually talk about the project. Yes.
I think this is the most important part in the project.
Exactly.
They feel they achieved something.
Exactly, that's it. It's just, yes, please say.
To enhance students' presentation skills.
Exactly, this is a skill that they need to work on. Okay, so here if you can see, we have a girl showing her country display to the group and saying our group chose to talk about Japan. So they can say language like the currency of Japan is the yen. This is the map of Japan. The Japanese like to eat sushi and noodles. This is the language, the intended language that we wanted them to learn. So this is an opportunity for the student to be the center of attention. We all require this sense of validation and appreciation. Your student needs to make sure they're doing well, they're doing the right thing. So you need to give them this opportunity to talk about their project. It's also a safe zone and a friendly zone where they can share their ideas without any judgment or any corrections or any, the judgment.
So we are after fluency, not accuracy. We are after fluency.
Absolutely, yes. We're after their fluency. And of course, we will model the correct language if they make any mistakes, but not while they're talking.
Yes.
So if you have a shy student, this is a really safe space where he or she can practice talking without being judged or being corrected. Okay, so we can also apply this in online learning. If you have your students, they can make the projects with each other, they can research, you can assess their learning skills, and they can also record videos of themselves presenting these videos, presenting these displays. Or you can also have them present them through Zoom like we're doing right now. Okay, here comes the project self-assessment. So you already assessed your students based on their objectives or the objectives you wanted to achieve, but they need to make sure that they already can assess themselves. What kind of assessment they need to assess themselves? They need to assess their skills. So if they can work with their group to make the country display, this is a 1 star. If they can work with their group to make a country display and give ideas to make it better, this is a 2 stars. But if they can talk about it in complete sentences, this is a 3 stars. They need to know what's different about each phase and the other. They need to know how to improve themselves. Okay, here I need to remind you that telling your students they will forget what they
Yes,
learned.
this is very
Show
important.
them, and they will remember, and involve them, and they will understand what you want. Now, moving on to the feedback session. If you have any questions on Unit 7, or if you found it useful, please share with us your ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Feedback.
Thanks a lot, Nisma, for this wonderful work. Thanks,
Thank you,
Dr.
Fran.
Iman.
Okay, we haven't finished yet, but
Okay.
we're just stopping for feedback. And I'm getting a lot of feedback here. Some people are telling us that they would like the project to include more information, and that maybe they can go and find coins or any other culture habits they can perhaps wear, what expresses this country's form of dress. Absolutely, in Connect, we are giving you the bare minimum. We are giving you what we think is available in every single classroom: scissors, pens and pencils and colors. But by all means, if you want to take this a step ahead, go ahead. It's completely up to
اللي
you.
هو بتاع الشخص اللي بيشير سكرين.
Sorry, but can I say something? You can hear me?
Yes, you can talk. We can hear you.
Thank you. First of all, I would thank you for this session. I'm not a teacher, but I'm a parent. And I want to thank all of you for your efforts. But I want to give my opinion in this curriculum. This curriculum is very interesting and very interactive. But I hope that all teachers teach this book by interactive and fun with students, especially projects. To fulfill our purpose listening, speaking, and make the children can speak and listening and express themselves well.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And I think this is very important because there's some sort of myth going on around that parents are resistant to projects. I don't know who this wonderful mother is, but thank you for joining us. And she's a testimony to the fact that parents actually do appreciate projects. And if their children can speak and express themselves and be able to show confidence, this is what all of us want. I'm a mother, and this is what we want from our children. I mean, obviously accuracy in speaking is important, but that is something that they will require over time. At this point, you're looking for foundational skills, and that includes fluency and confidence. So this is something that's very important at this stage. Now, before we're running out of time, so I'm very quickly going to give you a glimpse at some of the projects that we have in Primary 3, Term 2. And this second one is my absolute favorite. In Unit 8, they learn about the conservation of water in light of a bigger topic about the environment. And in this lesson, they are being taught how to conserve water in the home. And they will then go on to make a project about how they can conserve water at home. And the child is expected to go home, move around the house, and figure out on his own how he can conserve water. In this particular case, we have our child who we'll call Omar. And Omar figured out that in order to conserve water at home, he needs to fix the faucets if they drip. So he borrowed his sister's toy bathtub, and pretended to be fixing the faucet. He then pretended to be turning off water while he's brushing his teeth. As you can see, he's very happy taking this photo of him brushing his teeth with the faucet turned off. He then proceeds to say what he should not do. to go back. Whoops. And he knows that he should not take long baths, as you can see here. And he knows that he should not use a lot of water when he washes the dishes. Okay, so he then makes a poster using glue, poster paper, pictures. If he can't take pictures and he doesn't know how to print these on a printer, that's fine, he can draw himself. And he used scissors and markers to eventually sit down with his group and make a poster like this, okay? In doing this, Omar has role played, he's used total physical response, he's researched, perhaps by going to his parents, asking his peers how he can preserve water at home. He feels appreciated, he feels like he's the center of attention. In making the poster, he's actually using grammar. He's expected to use the imperative. Fix the faucet if it drips, take long baths, turn off water when brushing your teeth, use a lot of water when you wash the dishes. So he's actually using a structure. He's using the vocab that he's learned in the unit. He's been taught faucet, he's been taught drips, he's been taught baths, and so on. He can use extra words that aren't in the unit, and that's a form of research where he moves one step ahead and is able to do the research. Most importantly, Omar is having fun, and you better believe that he's not going to be wasting water. After he's role played this, he will go back and make sure that everybody in the household is, not letting water run. So this kind of role play is an example of real life. So you'll find this beautiful project in Unit 8. And the beauty of this project is that you can do it online. If the student is not going to be going back to class, there's nothing to stop him from doing this at home and sharing it in a Zoom session like we are now, or recording a video of him doing this and sharing it with his classmates. So this project, once again, lends itself to online learning. In Unit 9, we have another beautiful project that's about ancient Egyptian jewelry. And they learn about how the ancient Egyptians made jewelry, the different kinds of stones they used, the bright colors, and so on and so forth. And then they are expected to use very simple materials like buttons or beads, scissors, paint, and pasta, macaroni or spaghetti, colored paper, glue, and string to make their own beautiful necklaces. Okay, very easily done. To sit down and color the pasta and then weave it together on string to create their own beautiful necklace. And in this case, they can present it again online or in class, and they will be recycling all the structures and vocab that they learned throughout the unit. So here our child is saying, this is my ancient Egyptian necklace. It's gold with bright stones. The stones are, and then, whatever, so on and so forth. The final project is about a heart collage, where the students will make a poster saying what protects the heart and what doesn't. So here we have the red healthy hearts. We have fruits and vegetables all around it, showing us how we can preserve our hearts. And then this black heart, they've used realia or pictures from magazines or anything they can find to express how our heart becomes damaged and turns black. So that's just a quick glimpse at what the projects we have in Connect for Primary 3. Ms. Amani Safwat will be giving you an online training session starting tomorrow, inshallah, at 3 p.m., where she will be going with you lesson by lesson through this book, explaining exactly how we teach it. That said, I would like to thank you very much on behalf of Nisma and myself. And Amani, back to you. We're happy to entertain any questions or feedback.
Dr. Iman and Ms. Nisma, thanks a lot for this informative, lovely, full of fun session. And here we are waiting for your questions. So we will be following you whether on Facebook or here on Zoom, and you are free to send whatever questions you need to. Okay. Any questions?
Lisa, I'd like to ask you, why you didn't give us any session about KG? How can we deal with KG in Connect Plus?
Okay, well, I did mention at the beginning that anything we talk about today will apply to everything from KG all the way up to primary 3. We focus today on primary 3 term 2 because everybody wants to see the book. That's the only reason. But we will definitely have more sessions as per your request, dealing with, you know, if you guys go ahead and just give us suggestions. Miss Amani has been doing an excellent job. I think she's been giving 2 or 3 sessions every day. I don't know how she manages it. Tomorrow or today, we have one on singing, I believe. So yes, by all means, write your suggestions in our comments and we will be happy to follow up on that.
I just want to add to Dr. Iman's words. Today we're having a session. It's basically related to the KGs. So primary teachers are just visitors. KG teachers will be the ones who are involved. So we're waiting for you at 7.
Okay, excuse me, but how can we join tomorrow's session? Because actually I learned about this session by coincidence. Yeah. So how can we learn?
So the links are there on Facebook. You can join us through Zoom. And we will be also broadcasting live on Sphinx Publishing Company Facebook page.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so today we have session for KG, right? At 7?
Yes, for Connect Plus.
For Connect Plus. Okay, thank you. How we can enjoy it. How can we enjoy it? Yes. You will take the link from the Facebook?
And no, the link is there in the post on Facebook, yes.
Yeah, we can take it from the Facebook.
Yes.
Okay.
I will just write the Facebook page title, and
yes,
we are waiting for questions from whether Facebook or here on Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm Khadra, and I want to thank you for this session. It's really great. I enjoyed it very much. And I want to ask something because I teach in a secondary stage, and I want to know how to assess the project, how to assess students doing the project.
Okay, Khadra, I think this is going to be something that we need to have a special session for, because that's an entirely different outlook. And we would have to have an assessment expert with us. So let's answer that question in a future session where we will be talking about secondary. So stay tuned and we'll have something on that soon, inshallah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
We have Yusuf Murad from grade 6 is raising his hand. So I think Yusuf wants to tell us something.
We'd love to hear from Yusuf.
Yusuf, unmute yourself and go on.
Thank you very much. حضرتك لما دخلت على بتاع الفيسبوك كتب لي بوت، يعني كانت محجوزة، فأنا دلوقتي هدخل إزاي؟
Okay, Yusuf, I will send you the link in an email, okay? هبعت لك اللينك في ايميل.
Thank you.
You're welcome يا حبيبي.
Firstly, thank you very much about this useful discussion. I'm Shahi, and I think there's something common between primary and KG. For example, when the role play about the healthy and unhealthy, and the red heart and the black heart, it is very, very useful for KG. I think it's very fantastic. And thank you.
Yes, absolutely. You will find that the ministry has set 4 different themes. I mean, obviously all of you have seen this. So you will find that oftentimes themes are repeated. And even though topics may be repeated from one level to the next, when they go to a higher level, they go to a deeper level. So when we're not repeating ourselves, but we're actually going to something that's deeper. So like you said, absolutely. I think all the projects can be applied to all years. I mean, they can even be applied to the secondary level, healthy and unhealthy hearts. We do have in secondary too, an entire unit that deals with the heart and CPR. So yes, absolutely.
Yes, of course. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Iman, we have Ms. Hanan Mohammed from Facebook. She asks about the flashcards and the CD of the book.
Okay, not to disappoint you, but there's no CD. We've taken that off the back blurb of the book. There are no CDs, but everything is available on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and on York-E. And we've been giving, if you're following us on Facebook, we've been guiding you on how to find this material. And if you have problems finding the material, by all means, write to us and we're there to guide you and to help you. Same with the flashcards. They're not sold, but they are available digitally. You can download them from the internet.
Okay, please, I would like to ask you about the CD. You said that there is no CD, but for KG, there is no listening because yeah, this is my second year and I can't find the listening.
Okay, no, there's no CD, but absolutely there's listening. Okay, so
Where?
you can find the digital files on the EKB. If you're having problems locating the audio files, please send us a message on Facebook and we will help you to locate those files. But they're there, everything is there, available on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank.
Can I ask a question about that? I need the PDF version of the book to display it in class for my student, and I can't seem to find it anywhere on the website. Can you help me with that?
Okay, you will find some PDF files of the book on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, but we are, as we speak right now, we are preparing a very organized study guide with the EKB administration.
Okay.
That should be ready within the next few weeks. You will have everything lesson by lesson laid out for you in PDF form very soon.
Yeah, I can find PDF for KGs in primary 1 and primary 2, and then we skipped it primary 3, so I couldn't find primary 3 anywhere.
Okay, this is all happening very fast in a very small, in a very short period of time. So you can imagine what the EKB administration is going through. But we are cooperating now, and hopefully, inshallah, within a few weeks, everything will be in a ready, set study guide. So all you need to do is just press on the lesson, and the book will appear in PDF format.
We'll be waiting. Thank you.
Yes, please hang in there. Almost done.
Any more questions?
Yes, me. I want to ask one question about fluency and accuracy. I'm a teacher in KG, and sometimes some of parents, I want my son to speak fluently. Okay, but it's not about grammar. I don't want grammar. No, I want him to speak fluently. But I think this is wrong. Yes, I want to add grammar too fluently. I think something I want my son to speak, but grammar is not important. Is it right or wrong?
Okay, well, whether something is right or wrong is always going to be subjective. So you have old school and you have modern school and you have people who are somewhere in the middle. I know that the Ministry of Education is headed towards a non-grammar outlook. So the Ministry of Education has devised Connect and Connect Plus in a manner that helps you shower your kids with English as opposed to teaching grammar rules. Okay, and that has been found to be the best method to keep showering your children with the language by getting them to listen to the audio files. It's very important that they listen to native speakers of the language. The more they listen, the more they will be able to acquire. I know that my son, who's in primary
like the
now,
flooding therapy,
exactly. Let me tell you, my son has learned from Peppa Pig, the cartoon, more English than he had in his classroom. Okay, because he listens to the cartoon, he loves it, and I love it with him. And you know, they speak with this perfect English accent, and he's acquired that English accent from the cartoon, as opposed to what he's learning in class, which is also excellent. I mean, they're doing a great job teaching him. But me, as a mother and as a publisher, definitely, I would ask you to please move away from grammar rules, because they create this block, okay? And the children want to feel free. So I don't know how you could possibly teach grammar in KG. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So absolutely go for fluency and accuracy will come along.
And focus on listening and speaking.
That's
Yes,
an
of
absolute
course.
must. Yes.
The most important two skills, I think, is listening and speaking. Writing and reading is important, but the most important, I think, for KG, at least speaking and listening.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more questions? It seems that we are done.
Thank you.
Ms. Sameh? Okay.
I'm saying thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So it seems that we are done. Dr. Iman and Ms. Nisma, thanks for the lovely work. It has been great. And it has been pleasure having you today. Wishing you all the best and see you soon.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ameni. Thank you, Nisma.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you a lot.